morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Monday Morning Show. It is Monday morning. Thank God it's Monday.
TGIM.
Now, you might be wondering why we just awoke you on Monday morning with such a ridiculous noise.
Yes.
We probably shouldn't make that noise very often.
Probably not.
But today is National Scream Day. So we just started with a little screaming. If you feel the need to scream today, it's good to let it out. So today is all about screaming, letting it out. It reminds me of Monsters, Inc., where they collect screams in order to power the city. I feel like our screams could power a city.
I think so. I'm afraid someone's going to run in here and check on us.
I know, they're going to think we're not okay. But we're just letting it out a little bit, letting off a little steam.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to scream. Well, anyway, we are so glad to have you here for another episode of the Monday Morning Show. That's Ashley.
That's Noah.
And we are your hosts, and we are excited to share with you some fun Freedom Village news.
Yes.
So, what do we have going on this week,
Well,
Ashley?
today is Monday, of course. Today, right after this, at 10 a.m., we've got the Holland Aquatic Center program in the Michigan room. And so members of the Holland Aquatic Center board will be here to give us information on the upcoming millage and what you need to know before casting your vote.
Yeah. So just a few years ago, they did a vote to renovate the Aquatic Center. So they added all those big additions and made it beautiful. Mm-hmm. And they have another millage coming up on this year's vote. So it's just a little bit of information. And there's coffee and treats. So
which always helps.
Maybe make a stop by the Michigan room this morning. And tomorrow, Tuesday, is Sandy's big day. She has lots of tech classes. So there's Tech with Sandy at 10 a.m. There's Teaching Touchtown and Tackling Technology in the afternoon. So if you are interested in any of those classes, you can get more information on Touchtown and sign up for them there.
Techie Tuesday.
Techie Tuesday.
Tuesday afternoon, what do we have going on?
I can't do a penguin.
Boop, boop, boop. It's This is our live social where you get to meet new residents, but we've got a really fun theme this month.
Yes, tomorrow is World Penguin Day. So, what better way to celebrate than to dress up as penguins?
And have a penguin party.
Have a penguin party. So we will be having a penguin party at 3 o'clock in the auditorium on Tuesday. We'll be introducing some of our new residents. We have a good lineup this week, so that should be fun. And we'll eat some penguin treats.
If I don't have a penguin costume, what should I wear to this party?
Well, if you don't have a penguin costume, which I think everyone should have a penguin costume.
Probably, but just in case.
If you don't have a penguin costume, then you should wear black or white.
Okay.
Maybe a little orange accent.
Ooh, like a beak.
Like a beak,
mm-hmm.
But it could be like an orange scarf. Like, we could make this real chic.
Ooh, I like this.
Yeah, so.
Classy penguin.
Classy penguin. We are excited to see you all there. Even if you aren't dressed like a penguin, we will still be happy to see you. There will be snacks and drinks and good times with your neighbors.
Yes.
That'll be fun.
Awesome. Wednesday afternoon, we've got another movie out to Sperry Theater down on 8th Street. We're going to go see the movie Air, which is a biographical sports drama chronicling the origin of the Air Jordan.
Air Jordan. That's a popular.
Still popular.
Shoe. Yeah,
it's been popular for
today.
Decades, yeah.
So it looks like it'll be a pretty interesting movie. I know there are still spots, so make sure you sign up on Touchtown to go. And how much does that cost?
Only $8 for the movie, $6 extra if you want pop and popcorn. So best deal in town for movies.
Best deal in town, really.
Mm-hmm.
And that leaves at 1:10 on Wednesday. Awesome.
Wednesday afternoon, our normal musical reminiscing is canceled this week, so don't head down to the atrium.
Or do if you just want to hang out.
Or do for some company,
chat,
but there won't be any piano.
No piano this week. And then Wednesday night, it's a busy day. We have Andrews University coming on Wednesday at 7:15, and they come annually. How long have they come for? Many years,
Longer
right?
than I've been around.
Yeah, longer than I've been too. And they come every year, and they bring members of their music department to perform for us, whether it's instrumentalists or vocalists or anything in between. They bring lots of different people to perform, so that should be a wonderful performance.
Oh, it's such a good show. They're so talented.
It'll be my first time seeing them, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, they're really, really good.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun. So that's Wednesday night at 7:15.
Friday afternoon, Friday all day is Arbor Day.
It is.
And so we're going to celebrate Arbor Day by heading over to Hope College for a tour of their trees.
Tour of trees.
Yeah, tour of their trees. So Bob Hunt, a tree arborist, will give us a tour of all the unique trees on Hope College's campus. They've got over 2,000 trees. and including 100 different species of trees within there.
That's like as many trees as they have students.
That's interesting.
Isn't it, though? Yes. It's about 2,000 students at Hope College, right?
Okay, I don't know.
I think so. It might be a little more than that now, but
they should start advertising 1 tree per student.
They should plant more trees so that they have an equal number of trees to students every year. What a good idea, but that should be so exciting. So we'll learn a lot about trees with Bob Hunt on Friday.
Yes.
That's just a little bit of what we've got going on this week.
It's a good week.
It's going to be a busy week.
It is.
I'm tired just thinking about it.
Woo! Saturday we'll sleep in.
Oh, yes. Unless you're running pancake breakfast, then you can't sleep in.
No, you can't.
Bright and early.
7:45.
Woof! Man. So, this week we have a pretty exciting interview.
We do.
It is an interview between brother and sister, Joe Kuiper and Ken Olthoff. They had a really nice conversation, and we are excited to get to see them here.
Brother Ken grew up in the Roseland area of Chicago. From the time Ken was in high school and then went off to Calvin University, their paths diverged. Now they live here and have agreed to talk with us today. Joe?
Well, good morning. I think it's good morning anyway. That's a good morning show. And I have an envelope here that I have to open, and I understand there's a few questions in here. When you lived in Roseland, did you both help out at your family store?
Oh, by all means. We worked there.
Yeah, we worked there. It was imperative, wasn't it?
It wasn't a question of whether we wanted to help or not.
That's right.
It was.
And what kind of things did you do in the store?
Well, the first thing I remember is putting potatoes from a 100-pound sack dumped on a concrete floor in the 5-pound bags, 10-pound bags, 15-pound bags.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever stick your finger in a rotten potato?
Always, and boy, did that stick.
That's the worst.
There's nothing that smells worse than a rotten potato.
Oh, how about the eggs, Ken? I used to take the eggs in the big, they come in the big crates, and I had to put them in dozens. And I did that.
Sure.
Did you do that too?
I did the same thing.
How many did you break?
Oh, well, there were a lot of broken ones in the crate to begin with. You talk about smelly things. That too is smelly.
Okay, I think it's your turn to open an envelope. I don't know what you've got in your envelope.
In what ways is Joe like your mother? Your father is the second part. In what ways are you like Ma? We refer to her as Ma all the time, of course. Yes, she is like her mother, very demanding, yes. And it's got to be done right. It's no halfway about it. Father? That's an interesting question. I'd never thought about that, but I would compare you to Ma more than Pa. Mm-hmm. But our father was always, see, we lived above the store, and he was always at work from early morning to late at night. And so we interacted with him when we were working somewhat, but otherwise, there's one thing I remember about my father. One time he surprised us kids with having made a game that we can play in the alley. And it's a little wooden things that you could hit with a stick and it would jump up and so on and so forth. And I don't know anything more than that, but I was so impressed that Pa would do that for us kids. Yeah. Other than that, yeah. The other thing I remember about him, Wednesday afternoon, he did not, the store was closed on Wednesday afternoon, so that was like a vacation half day. And we would often go take a trip in the car to Cedar Lake or to visit our uncles and aunts.
We went to DeMott, Indiana, because that is where my mother's sister lived.
Yes.
And we would go there, and then we'd come back with asparagus, or we'd
Oh,
come
my, yes.
back with any to sell in the store.
Yeah, yep.
One thing I do recall about Pa, which was always surprising to me after a long, hot day, he would go down back in the store. He'd tell us to go back down to the store, and he'd say, "Get some ice cream and get some root beer. We need some root beer floats." But we used to call them black cows at that time. And I do remember that. And I thought, boy, that's pretty nice. But we can go right downstairs and get that.
It was very handy to have a grocery store so close. We could just go down, I think there were 27 steps, if I remember right.
I don't remember that.
Okay. But talking about those 27 steps, they were straight up, and at the top it would be a little bit of a turn. Okay, my sister Celia, who was a pianist, taught piano.
And I took lessons from her.
And you took lessons. She tried to teach me. It didn't
work?
It didn't take. But that piano that she ordered, a big grand piano, up those stairs, I remember distinctly watching those two guys, one in front, one in back.
Yep.
And the other one in back had the whole piano on his shoulders, the whole weight of that piano.
That's
and up those 20-some steps. And then there's a little turn up at that. Boy, then that confounded them for a little while, but they made it, and they went up in the second floor. But she taught many, many pupils there, and I would love to listen to her. I'd be laying that, we would all be working in the store. We all had lunch breaks. And so at lunch break, then we'd go up and get lunch, and she would be playing the piano, and I would be laying on the floor listening to her play the piano. I have such fond memories of that. I really do. Yeah.
I have something about a trait that you had as a young boy that was still apparent today. When you were younger, at high school age maybe, you started to make airplanes out of balsa wood, and you covered them with tissue paper.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, we had, it started small, but it got quite large, and he had a plane that was about this big. What are you going to do with that? He's going to hang it on the ceiling of his bedroom. Well, how do you do that? Well, he figured that out too. And so I think that's a trait that has stuck with him. How do you do this thing? And he still did it when he built a couple houses, and he still did it here when he came here, and he said, I think I'd like to have this here, and I'd like to have that there. And I think that stuck with you all your life.
It never leaves you.
Yeah.
But talking about those airplanes, during World War II,
yeah,
I had all those airplanes hanging from Pa's store in the ceiling, and the customers would come in and look up those. Oh man, look at that! Yeah, everything was geared to World War II. I tell you, even the displays in the windows, the front windows.
A lot of it was.
Yeah,
right, very much so. I don't know what else.
What have you learned about Joe since your move to Freedom Village? That's an interesting one. I should have read it mentally first before I read it out loud, huh? What have I learned about you? I learned more about the same thing that I knew before.
Oh,
yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And it's been a great time, really. A super time. We had not spent much time together in these last years.
No, I think when you went off to college, that's when our lives separated, and we didn't remember.
Like this.
Yeah, our lives went in totally different directions. And only came back when we started to live near each other in Spring Lake. And that's some years ago. And now it's together again. And we're older and different people, and we've had different experiences. And
I'm glad you didn't say older and better.
Well, no, that'd be somebody else's general observation. I don't know, but it's an interesting way to start light, you know, we're a year and a half apart, and we were kind of the trail enders of a family of 5. And I think it was always Kenny and Joe, Kenny and Joe, Kenny and Joanne. Kenny, take care of Joanne. And so that's the way it was, get to school. But then when we got to high school, and after high school, it was just, you know, okay, I'm on my own now. And I didn't think I even saw you when you went in high school.
No,
I don't see you.
so.
We went to the same school, but I
I
never saw
remember
each other.
those days when Saturday afternoon, when our job was to dust the furniture in the living area.
Oh yeah, but that was when we were younger. When we were older, we were working in the store.
Oh, that's before, yeah. We were just little kids then.
Yeah, that's when.
But I still have memories of that, though.
Yeah, and that's when Ma would say, I lost all my help. All my dusters are gone. They all went down to the store to work, and now my mother didn't have any more help.
That's one thing about working in the store. With your dad owning the store, we were always expected to be there. And well, what does that do? My buddy across the street, he was in swimming at the Y. Was I there? No.
Oh.
I had to work. I had to go down to the basement and get those potatoes in a box. Yeah, and in a bag rather. But that was expected of us too.
It was.
To work in the store.
And when I tried out for the high school play, and I got the part, I had to say, Pa, I can't come to work on Friday because there's rehearsal. I had to beg for that time off.
Yeah.
But I got it.
You were.
He gave up, and I did it. So, yeah, there was always that conflict. How much do we owe the store? So, but it was fun. I learned how to deal with people. Learned how to make change. I learned a lot of things. I learned telephone etiquette, and I learned a lot of things there. So, it was a good time. It's a good time. He's got notes.
I had to recall a few things. Joe, do you recall Celia falling down the stairs?
Well, I was probably not there at the time. I don't know. I heard about it. We lived above the store, so there was a whole flight of stairs that went down the back.
There's no turn. It was just one flight all the way down.
At
any rate.
Yeah, and
so
we lived near a railroad track, didn't we?
The railroad track is very close. So she fell down there once. We got a phone call from the engineer of the train that went by. She or he happened to see her fall down the stairs. And he was concerned about how that little girl is doing today. It's amazing. Now, today, unheard of. You wouldn't find that happening. Yeah. But that's the way it was. That's the era we grew up in. Yeah. So.
Yeah, those railroad tracks were very important in our growing up because we could, from the grammar school that we went to, you could take the railroad tracks home walking, which was always fun. You could walk the tracks. It was so much fun in the springtime with the grasshoppers jumping all over it. It was fun.
And then, of course, another advantage was the grocery store had 2 trucks to deliver groceries to the customers. And once in a while, we would sit in those trucks and be taken to school when the weather was bad. Well, school was quite a ways away.
Yeah, about a mile.
Which I always thought was interesting. There was a Christian school much closer to our store, but no, we had to go past that Christian school to the further one over here because that's the one that belonged to the church that we belonged to. Could never figure that out, why I had to walk so much further.
Family, pretty much. So, yeah, I remember those walks home from school too.
Oh, and those bad boys from VV school.
Be careful.
Oh, they were tough. As a matter of fact, we would cross the street to avoid them and then go back and walk this way.
Yeah, we tried to avoid them. We tried to go around here and go that way. But sometimes when the weather was bad, though, then Pa would send the truck out for us, and we'd look at on the road if the truck was coming, and they'd give us a ride home. Do you remember
Pa sold chickens, course, butchered chickens, dead ones.
You mean the chicken coop?
Well, chickens were kept in the chicken coop until it was Friday night.
Yeah.
And Friday night, then they took those chickens and brought them to the basement. They cut the throats, throw them in a barrel, and they'd flop around in a barrel.
See, I never saw that.
Oh, you do? Oh.
No.
Once in a while, the butchers who did they threw the chicken, but they missed the barrel. And that chicken would just scream around the basement area.
Run like a chicken with its head caught off.
Oh.
Yes.
What pleasant memories we have of our... And Joe was saying, we went both two ways. I went one way, she went another way. We didn't have much to do with each other at that point in time, which is amazing. Now at the end of our lifetime, you
live
might
in the
say,
same building.
we're the same building.
Oh, that was such a nice interview. They did such a nice job.
They did. It was so nice to see their love for each other.
Yes, and just fun to learn more about our residents and their past stories.
Yes. And we've got a fun interview coming up next week that we want to give you just a little sneak peek at. We've got Juliana Steensma, who turns 100 years old next week, and she sat down and had a nice conversation with her two sons-in-law. So let's take a preview of that.
But today we're featuring Juliana Steensma. And with her, she has her sons-in-law. Now that's a really special morning for all of us. We say Juliana Steensma are centenarian. That's a long word. But that's who she is, and she's also a Frisian. And we know that as well. And these are her sons-in-law, Al Skippers and Jim Junker.
Hello.
And they're going to answer a few questions about Juliana.
And we had talked over the years of those accidental things that happen, those little stories that somehow or other they form together into a life, right? Her mother dying, coming to Grand Rapids and being a student and connecting with John Steensma, and they seem like all disconnected parts of the story. But then if you take the flow, she's got kind of that, in some ways, a disrespect for what, is traditional, but yet a curiosity as to maybe what's going to come around the corner. Mm-hmm. And I think I caught that from her. Is that a fair
Sounds
answer?
good the way you put it.
The singing of the song, and he says, we're going to sing stand up for Jesus. And he says, and everybody stand up, and then Ed Hiram immediately went and sat down himself.
Oh.
Well, Juliana's in the front row.
What did you do, Juliana? Sat down.
She sat down. And then
He saw me.
He saw her, and then you said, gave him the stand-up sign, and sure enough, Ed Hiram stood up, and that was just part of the Bradenton dynamic.
And we moved because a tree fell on my house, and I was sleeping in a corner of the bedroom, and the tree had two big branches, and they went just like that, and that was too close for comfort.
One last thing, you should see her orchids right now. They
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
incredible.
Oh.
She has got a green thumb.
They came from Younker's Gardens.
Da-da-da-da-da.
But after the first bloom, you get the credit because you did.
You got to have the touch.
Yeah.
No matter where you bought them, you have to have the
No,
touch.
exactly. And she
You
does.
really do.
She's got it.
And she's got it. Well,
Forget about everything else, just bring the wine. I'll tell you what, I want you to know, and I'll announce it here, that I have a special wine gift in mind
do
for
you?
her 100th birthday. But I'm not going to tell her what it is, but it is wine related, and it has to do with being 100 years old.
I can't imagine what that will be.
So, Ashley,
Noah.
I have a question for you.
Good. What do we got?
Well, we are celebrating World Penguin Day this week. So I thought maybe something related to penguins would make
Penguin-y?
sense. A little penguin-y, a little
Okay.
penguin humor. So first of all, I would like to ask you why penguins don't like rock and roll.
Oh. I don't know.
Because they only listen to soul. But for real, I have a real question for you. My nonsense question for this week is, do penguins have knees? They waddle.
I don't know. They don't bend them if they got them.
They don't walk like we walk.
No, I don't think so.
No knees?
No. Do you know the answer?
I might know the answer.
Not going to tell me.
It might be a secret answer. You might have to learn later.
Do I have to watch the Monday morning show?
You might have to watch the Monday morning show to find out.
All right.
Would you like to know the answer?
Yeah.
Penguins do have knees.
Why don't they bend them?
They're like real high up in their little bodies, so I don't think it physically works for them to bend them, but they do have knees, just like we do.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just like us.
Just like us. Penguins, humans, same. So now you know.
All right.
It's Monday morning, and you know what that means. It's time for Nonsense. Nonsense with Noah. Let's hit the halls.
Hello, Dell.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you? May we ask you a question? Do penguins have knees?
Do penguins have knees? No, I don't think so.
No knees?
No.
Because they waddle, so they don't need knees.
Yeah.
Would you believe that penguins do have knees?
They do.
They do, isn't that weird? Will I answer that question?
Okay.
So my question is, do penguins have knees?
Penguins have.
Knees.
No, I don't think so.
They do.
They do.
Isn't that weird? All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in for another week of the Monday Morning Show. We are your hosts, Ashley,
Noah.
and we are so glad to be here, and we will see you again next week.
Yes.
Bye.
I wish that I just kept a clip of what we do right after. Because there's always like a someone vomits every week. Or someone's head hits the table every time.
Someone vomits every week.
Every single week.
You know what else?
What?
Those shrimp tacos were so delicious.